It's me, Mom, and crying Audrey. Well, we just watched one of our favorites and we wanted to share it with you. What was the movie we just watched? Radio Flyer, starring very, very young Elijah Wood and Joseph Mazzello from Jurassic Park and The Cure fame. I think he also was on like a few episodes of some other shows this year, but anyways, it's an old movie from 1992, and it is narrated by Tom Hanks. So it's probably one of Tom Hanks's best films without him really being in it.
Except for like 3 scenes.
Yeah, he has like maybe 3 scenes, but he narrates the whole thing, and it's really, really good movie. Do you wanna say something without crying? Why don't you show them your box of tissues? It's a roll of paper towels. That's right. It's a roll of paper towels, people. But you like this movie, though. You asked to watch this movie.
3 times more absorbent.
3 times more absorbent. There you go. That's a good one. But you asked to watch this movie. Because you like this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. I love this movie. It's guaranteed to make you cry. Okay. So, basically, it's about how the abuse that the little brother goes through and the secondary abuse of the older brother, seeing the little brother going through the abuse, and how they don't know how to tell the mom. And it's a very dramatic film. It has a lot of very strong themes in it, but you were still crying. My goodness, you poor thing. The movie's been over for a few minutes and we're still crying. We can't help it. It's one of those movies that's so sad, right? That's so sad, but ends so good.
Yeah.
Like, it's... Should we spoil it?
Okay. Skip ahead like a minute.
Just stop watching now. Okay, so, how does the movie end?
Okay.
How would you just summarize it in as few words as possible?
They use their very popular red wagon, the radio flyer, and they make it into like a little plane thing, and they fly off a cliff. Well, the little brother flies off a cliff.
Yeah, and ends up like traveling the world, and the whole movie is the older brother narrating about why it's good to keep a promise.
There's...
Like, did you notice anything this time watching it that you never noticed before?
Well, I noticed that we don't really see the king. We don't really see the king's face a whole lot, and... Okay,
that is true. You really don't. You really don't see his face, like, at all. Like, something that I noticed was, when the mom's running down the alleyway. And she's screaming about how angry she is, that because he promised, like that's a broken promise. Remember when I've always looked at it as it was, never break a promise. That's the whole premise of, the start of the movie is Tom Hanks explaining to his 2 kids, you don't break a promise. And the whole time I've always looked at it, I'm going to start crying. I've always looked at it as him not breaking that promise to his little brother to not spend the money that they were earning so then they could be able to build the flyer. And then this time, I'm watching that scene, and we're talking about how, like, oh my gosh, look, 3 blocks, not even 3 houses away is the sheriff's station. Like but she's screaming about the promise that her husband broke, and that he was drinking again. And that was like when that dawned on me, oh my goodness, he broke the promise. Knock it off. Overdramatic child. But no, that's like, insane. But no, just where I've never noticed that before.
Yeah.
I guess, just to sum it up. I've never noticed that before. Like, that's insane. She's screaming about how, he promised me. And it's like, oh my God, that's the promise that is broken, is that he promised he would not drink again. He promised he would not hit her child again. And then there she was holding the note and, like, wanting to kill the SOB. And... oh, but there's, the sheriff's office, 3 houses away. I'm sure they could hear the dog barking. They could hear the abuse. They could have done something about it, but nope. Yep. But so, what did you learn from the movie though? Like this time around, what is like a message that you will take away from this movie, and that you want other people to watch the movie Radio Flyer and learn this? What would you learn?
Don't worry about the bad things that will happen if you tell an adult what's been happening, because if you tell the adult what's happening, then the adult will take care of it. That's
good. That's a good point.
I sound like someone who would like give a speech at like a school or something.
Or like a PSA announcement. Yeah. The more you know. From the Clunan family. Okay, so you think we're pretty good?
Yeah.
How many stars would you give it?
5.
5 teardrops.
5 teardrops.